Hello, hello. Good afternoon. How are you? Let me know when you come on. Make sure to say hello. I'm Teresa with Teresa Rene Art, and I am streaming from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. We are showcasing the Artemisia line of oil paint, brand new from Pentart. We started this portrait 2 weeks ago. We're going to work on it some more. Probably won't finish it today. Probably finish it next week. We're going to work on it a little bit more, but we've been painting this for 2 weeks now, you guys. We started with the background. Last session, we painted the hat and part of the face, and we're going to continue with that today. We are using the Artemisia line of oil paints, brand new, very high quality pigments from Pentart, available all over. If you are looking for these in the USA, you can contact the USA distributors for Pentart at Pentart USA. That's the Facebook page. You guys, I am so excited to be here. I'm thankful to my friends at Pentart for allowing me to do this, to showcase the paints. My impression so far is that they handle beautifully. The colors are amazing, very high pigmented, very good quality. One thing I will say, as they always do, Pentart has really tried to be conscientious of health and safety concerns. So they have eliminated heavy metals from the lines, which means no toxic materials such as cadmiums or lead were formulated in the making of the paint. So really very high quality. So you guys, thanks for being here. We've got 1 hour. We're going to start painting. As you come on, or when you watch the replay, make sure to type in #replay so my friends at Pentart know you were here. I'm going to adjust my configuration here. Let's see, I'm going to turn my camera this way, and hopefully you can see pretty well. I'll come back over periodically. Hopefully you can hear me okay still. I'm going to come back over periodically and watch for comments. If you have any questions along the way, just drop in your questions as we go. So I'm going to run through, because when I did this last time, when I was setting up the palette last week, my sound was off and I wasn't able to share the colors that I was using. So I'm going to run through those again for you now. I'm starting with titanium white. I always lay my palette out kind of like a rainbow, from light colors to darker colors, kind of going value scale wise, right? So I have cadmium lemon yellow, which is here. I'm going to skip that color for a second. We have permanent yellow deep, which is here. I have yellow ochre. I have vermilion red, alizarin crimson, sap green, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, raw umber, and iron oxide black. Those are the colors that I have on my palette right now. And Pentart does have a Naples yellow, but I didn't get it, so I'm using a different brand's Naples yellow. There's also this one, which I thought I would point out. This is Flesh Tint. So if you wanted to start with Flesh Tint, it actually is a pretty nice generic Flesh Tint that's already mixed for you. But I like to mix my own skin tones. But I would say if you've ever used their acrylic line, it's similar to like the compact powder color that we've used on the acrylic line, sort of a generic kind of Caucasian skin tone. But we're going to go ahead and mix up some. I saved my colors in the freezer last time. I put a saran wrap over the top of it, and then I covered it with a lid, and then I put it in the freezer. So, and I've just squeezed out a little bit of fresh paint as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to mix I've got a color that I really like that they don't have. It's called transparent red oxide. So I'm going to start by kind of mixing my own version of that with burnt sienna. It's a little more orangey than burnt sienna is, and I really like it for skin tone, so I'm kind of trying to mimic that color here of the transparent red oxide. Let's get a little bit of vermilion in there too. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, next we're going to mix up some darks. Let's take the burnt again and some sap green, and we'll make this kind of dark, generic, dark brown mixture, kind of neutral. Let's do one that's even a little bit darker than that, and we'll go into our black and our raw umber. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me okay? Let me know if you're having, if you can hear me fine. All right, and let's start with some skin tones. So her skin is pretty light. I've got to lighten up some of this area here for sure. I'm going to go ahead, but I'm going to concentrate on the arms today. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up some kind of generic. It's a little more purple than I think I accidentally grabbed some of that ultramarine. That's okay. I'll just try to even it out with some yellow ochre. It's just kind of a subtle brown here. Let's do a version of that that's a little bit redder. The vermilion colors tend to be, these colors tend to be kind of strong. Okay. That's looking pretty good. We got a lot of reddish skin tones down in here along the bottom of the arms. We've got some yellow ochre type. Let's get in there. Mix up this kind of generic looking. All right. So that's kind of a nice mid-tone. Can y'all hear me okay? Is there an echo or anything, or does it seem okay? I'm going to turn this down just in case I'm echoing here. So just let me know if it seems okay. All right, and then we're going to kind of go with a little bit of this one. And let's go with a little more white here. Let's turn this down some. All the way there. Okay, and let's do even a little more white. Okay. All right, let's do a little more white here. And then I'm going to make one that's a little bit even cooler. I'll mix a little bit of blue in there. It's a little cooler. Let's see. And add a little more white to that one. Okay, so I think we have a pretty good starting point. If I need more, I can always add a little bit more. Or I can change things up as I go. So we'll start with that. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I need a greenish mixture. So I always like to have a little bit of a greenish mixture, sort of a neutral, like a cool. That is way too green. Let's add a little bit of this one. It's complement. And a little bit more yellow ochre. Maybe even a lot more yellow ochre. We can add a little bit of raw umber to that too. When you add raw umber to things, it's sort of an instant neutralizer. Okay, so that's a good place to start. Hello, Sandor. Hello, how are you? Oh, my camera. Let's see, my camera here died. So let me see why. 1 second. Let's see. Is it back on? There it is. Okay. And my see if that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, my camera died for some reason. I think that's better. So y'all didn't see me mixing a lot of those colors, but anyway, here we go. So we're going to get started. And I'm just dipping into a little bit of linseed oil. And we're going to come up here. We're going to start with underneath the arm. And we're just going to plug that in. That's going to be a little bit too dark, but we can always lighten it as we go. So it's this part here in this arm. And we will come over here and we'll do the same thing. It keeps wanting to get my volume here. So I'm sorry about the echo. Silent. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Okay, and then this part is pretty dark over here too. But not quite. All right, and we're just kind of blocking in, like we're not trying to get too precise at this stage. All right. Definitely some more red in there. So I did prime the canvas. I primed it with the Pentacolor acrylic gesso. Anybody have any fun plans this weekend? So I've got this little arm rest that helps me keep painting even when my elbow gets a little bit tired. Okay, and then we're going to transition here. Might even put a little bit of green in there. On that transition. All right, and now we're going to move here. To this mid-tone. It's a large area that it's kind of all uniform in value. But we will go in after and kind of add some differentiation. So right now we're just trying to mass in the overall area. And then this area here is a good bit warmer. Okay. We'll just carry that kind of up here. And then in here, we're going to get a little bit darker. All right. So one thing before I go too much further, I want to get in here and I want to lighten up some of this other skin tone. I'm a little bit too dark in some areas. Got a little more pink in there. We also need to add some lips. And I am way too dark here. So the good thing about oil paint is it's mostly transparent, which means that when you blend over things, the other colors will show through. So by adding the complement, I added some blue to this mixture here, and I'm sort of toning down the saturation of this chest area. And I'm going to take this brush here is a mop brush, and that will help to kind of blend everything back in. almost like a dry brush technique. All right, let's keep going over here. And okay. Sometimes I switch back and forth between areas that I'm working on. Let's mix up some lips. Let's give her some lips. Way too dark. Too purple. Let's go a little more reddish. right there. We can adjust it if we need to. The bottom lip is always a little bit lighter than the top lip. All right, trying to find the shape. Okay. The lips almost fade into the skin. It's a very subtle transition. So we don't want any hard lines. So she finally has the suggestion of some lips. Part of my issue is my skin tone colors here. Okay, I can definitely spend a lot more time on this area. But for now, let's just soften what we have. We will keep going with the arm. But at least now she kind of looks like she has a face. And let's switch to lighter. All right, what we're going to do now, before we work on the hand some more, we're going to start blending. We have some really hard transitions here. Soften some of this out. So trying to add a little bit more dimension into that, a little more structure. All right. And then over here, we have another finger. All right. Let's soften our hand. We will definitely be getting into some more details in the hand. And so what I will do off camera is I will actually do the other side of the arm. And I'll add some more detail in the hands kind of once this paint sets and dries. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go over just a little bit. Let's go ahead and block in some hair so that once we get to next week, we're doing the dress and finishing touches. I do want to go ahead and block in some hair while I have some colors mixed up. Her hair is pretty dark in here. So we're going to use some generic kind of brown. To apply some hair masks. And then we're going to go over it with the lighter highlights sort of as we go. But I want to get some base color down so I'm not fighting with it next week. So this won't be the final color, but it gives me a starting point so that I can begin to blend and refine from here. So I'm just concentrating on the overall shape of the hair and not necessarily the strands, just trying to kind of block in a general idea. You look at the hair as like a mass. And then we'll do the same thing. Oops, I just grab my cancel. All right, and we will do the same thing over here. Okay, so she starts to come to life a little by little. Okay. All right, so I think we can stop there for today. So I will continue to work on the face and this side off camera. So next week, what we'll have left are like finishing, kind of the finishing touches, you guys. So thank y'all so much for joining me. Again, if you do catch the replay, make sure to type in hashtag replay so Pentart knows you were here. Y'all, thanks so much for your time, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye, everybody.